Talking all things entertainment, this is Sherri Pullum in the studio with Dreamers Unite. What's going on politically right now in this country? We're so divisive right now.
Right. Everything is so divisive. You feel like, you can't walk into any space without, being labeled or being, what side are you on?
What side?
I think it's so important that people can come into spaces at the Teaneck International Film Festival, regardless of where they are on the spectrum, and come into a safe space and get hopefully an objective viewpoint to learn about something or shed light on something where they may come out with a different viewpoint.
Mm-hmm. That's the hope. Give me some of that.
That's the hope.
They come out on a different viewpoint, that you grow. Hey, dreamers, and welcome to Dreamers Unite in the studio. Welcome back, and if it's your first time here, I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button before we even get into this fabulous, juicy conversation today. Well, I have an incredible guest, and he is no stranger to this show. He is an advocate, he's an artist, he is a producer, both Broadway and television film producer, and he is the executive director of the Teaneck International Film Festival. That's right, it is time. The Teaneck International Film Festival is right around the corner, and I am so pleased and honored, as always, to have Jeremy Lentz here with me, Executive Director of the Teaneck International Film Festival. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you for that great introduction, Sherri, and it's so good to be back on Dreamers Unite.
It is good to have you. Listen, we always just have like a really good conversation and a really good time.
Always.
Yeah. So we're going into 20 years, and I say we because I am also a part of the festival. I am a proud volunteer of the festival. It's 20 years. What a milestone year.
Can you believe it? 20
No.
years. Who would have thought that we'd be here 20 years later? I remember when they scooped me up at the Pullum Foundation and asked me to become the new executive director to replace Ellen Rand. And initially I said, no, I don't have the ability and the time to do it. And after a whole bunch of discussions, they were like, you're the person for the job. You're the one that we want. And I said, okay, I'll do it for 1 year. I said, that's all I'm committing to. And here we are 20 years later. Who knew that this would grow into what it's become and truly become a labor of love for not only myself, but all the people that are involved with this festival, but also our mission and our work has really become bigger than us in a way. And the work that we're doing towards social activism and making positive change in our community has become ever so more important in the times that we're living in. So really many of us involved with this festival have really transitioned our lives to make the work of the film festival the priority, because in this changing landscape in this country, we've seen the importance in telling the stories that we tell through film and also engaging our community to become active and involved citizens and help to raise awareness on so many issues and help to be involved in crafting legislation and making sure people, know what the issues are at hand. So it's really, really become, kind of our life's mission and what we're doing.
It is such important work. I think I like to call it soul work.
That's a good name for it.
Yeah, because at the heart of it really is, and this is, I think, the only festival really with a social conscience, right?
One of very few. There are
Very few.
There are
Okay.
a couple of throughout the country, but definitely, we're the only ones in the state of New Jersey doing this work. And it's really given us very much a niche in the film festival world.
Yes.
As far as the significance and importance of what we're doing. And the filmmakers who are coming through our festival understand that. And I think it's very refreshing for filmmakers to come to the Teaneck International Film Festival because their films are being exhibited by the audiences that they've made it for. It's not necessarily, inside baseball industry only kind of event. It's really these filmmakers have a message and they want their stories out there to be told and engaged in a particular way. And our festival really provides them with the platform to do that.
For sure. And we're going to talk more about that and talk about the filmmakers and the prize this year for filmmakers. Yes. But let's jump into now some of the films. Let's talk about opening night, some of the closing film, and then just give us some overall highlights of what we can expect this year.
Another great year for you, engaging in all the issues, something for everyone. We open on Thursday, November 6th with The Disappearance of Miss Scott, which is sponsored by one of our inaugural partners, the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Bergen Passaic Chapter.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out to NCBW 100.
That's right.
They're one of our two inaugural partners who we would not be here without them. And they have really selected, I think, a perfect film to kick off the 20th year, and that's The Disappearance of Miss Scott. It's a documentary about Hazel Scott, who is, very much a largely unknown musician, artist, activist. She was the first Black woman in American history to have her own talk show. She was married to a very significant politician, Adam Clayton Powell, and she was also a victim of the Red Scare and branded as a communist. And it tells her life story in a remarkable way. And really, the film is called The Disappearance of Miss Scott because it's talking about how history has largely erased her. And this film is to bring her back into the zeitgeist. And we've seen in more recent times artists doing that. Alicia Keys really propelled her at the Grammys when she dedicated one of the songs to her.
That's right.
But a film that I think really kind of encapsulates where we are today as a society, where this country has been, some dark times. And obviously we talk about history repeating itself, but also is something that I think is important in making sure that we're celebrating the stories of all Americans that, have contributed to our landscape and ensuring that these stories are told, never erased. And to have the coalition sponsoring this and to have the producer of the film, Sheila McVicker, flying in from France to be with us is enormous. And
that's huge.
Yeah. So it's going to be a big opening night.
I can't wait. And of course, Dreamers Unite. We will be there. Yes. So tell us the next day.
The next day, the Links of Bergen County, our other inaugural partner, and we've had these two incredible Black women's organizations that have been with us since inception, that align with the mission of TIFF, that align with the mission of the Pullum Foundation, that have really enabled us to thrive in the way that this festival has grown. And they're coming with us with also New Jersey premiere, regional premiere of a film called Beyond the Headlines, NABJ Journey and NABJ National Association of Black Journalists. And it's produced by a Teaneck native and also a member of the Links, Allison Davis, who is also going to be honored this year through one of TIFF's women's producing anchors, Wise Older Women. They're giving her a Woman of the Year award. And this film tells the story of the NABJ from its founding to where they are today, and, you know, the importance in NABJ's contribution to journalism.
Which is huge, and it's so timely right now. And congratulations, of course, to Allison.
Yeah.
Love her.
Yeah,
She's so well deserved.
She's a force.
Yeah.
And she's done so much. You know, I mean, she's been a alum of the film festival for many years. She's exhibited other films, but community activist and someone who has contributed so much to television. And it's great to have her bringing her film, and, you know, we'll have a wide array of journalists that'll be on that panel, which will be moderated by Emmy winner Randall Pinkston. I know we have confirmation Jay Dow is going to be with us on that panel, and a bunch of other guests. So it's exciting.
That is exciting.
Exciting.
So let's tell people too, before we go on with the film festival, how can people get tickets?
TeaneckFilmFestival.org. Just click the big buy tickets button, and that'll take them to the ticketing page.
Click the big buy tickets button.
Buy tickets, and tickets are $10 in advance, so you save money by purchasing earlier. And
they're still even affordable at the door.
Yes, provided that they remain. So buy your tickets in advance.
Yes, buy them in advance. So let's talk a little bit more about some of the highlights of the festival, and then the closing film. And then we'll talk about the boot camp.
Okay. Yeah, there's so much. There really are films for everyone. We have a film this year called Coexistence My Ass that's on the film festival circuit that is by a activist and a woman named Noam Schuster, who is a comedian and activist out of Israel, who does a stand-up comedy tour, started as a comedian to kind of bring some levity to the Israel-Palestinian conflict. And it follows her journey, having been raised in the only community in Israel where Palestinian and Jews chose to live together. And it was kind of this test tube of, you know, a model community for hope, for peace in the Middle East. And she grew up as a child in this community, and you had all these world leaders coming to this community, people like Hillary Clinton, Jane Fonda. There were, you know, loads of stories that were done on this, as seeing these children as, you know, the hope to be the people who would make change. Mm-hmm. And it follows her story through the current conflict, through post-October 7th. And it's a really, really moving, engaging, interesting piece that I think requires people to look at the issues from a very different vantage point than what we're so used to seeing in the news. So I'd encourage people to check that out. And what's going to be really nice is we're engaging with two New York City stand-up comedians who will be present, one Palestinian American and the other Jewish stand-up comedian, and they work together in that space. So that'll be really exciting.
That's powerful.
And powerful. Additionally, we have our centerpiece film, which is an Italian feature called A World Apart. It won 2 Nastro Awards, which is Italy's equivalent of the Oscars, directed by Riccardo Milani. And it's a really sweet story about a teacher who gets transferred to a remote region, kind of in the Italian Alps, to get involved with this school, and what happens to him in terms of saving this school and these children that are refugees coming into Italy, and how that impacts their life. So a story that's hopeful, but also, you know, something that really touches the heart. That'll be our centerpiece at Temple Emeth, which will have food and wine reception prior to the film, which is always a fun event. And then we have our closing night, which is Lily, which will feature the filmmaker Rachel Feldman. And this is a film about Lily Ledbetter, starring Golden Globe winner Patricia Clarkson from 6 Feet Under. And it tells a story of Lily Ledbetter, who had recently a piece of legislation that was passed into law named after her under the Biden administration for Equal Pay for Women Act. And, there are a lot of connections to her story here in New Jersey because our local senator, Loretta Weinberg, one of her last pieces of legislation before she left office was an Equal Pay Act for the women of New Jersey. And what's so remarkable was Lilly Ledbetter herself was at the signing and the passage of that bill. So Loretta, Senator Weinberg,
love Senator Weinberg,
will also be on that panel with director Rachel Feldman and tells a really unique American story.
That is so powerful. Is this year hybrid? Is this year hybrid as well?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. It is. And we have 5 incredible films in our Virtual Pass series that are accessible to anyone from anywhere in the country. We have a premiere of an incredible moving story called The Dancer about Ahmad Judeh, who's a world-class dancer who was born in Syria, Palestinian, born in a refugee camp in Syria, was a stateless citizen, meaning that he didn't have a passport because although he was born in Syria, was never given citizenship. And he was a ballet dancer, grew up, and then, Syrian war took place, and you had these groups coming into Syria that would tell him, you can't dance, you're going to be killed. And he wrote a book about his experience called To Dance or Die. And this is a documentary version of it because his career got kicked off when he got into So You Think You Could Dance, Arabia version, which was being shot in Lebanon, in Beirut. But he could not get there because he didn't have a passport to get on this show, which was opportunity to change his life. But through the forces that were there, he was able to get there. His story got picked up, and then the Dutch government gave him citizenship. And from there, his career has taken off. And I actually met Ahmad through the Fire Island Dance Festival when he came to perform there, and heard about his book, bought it, was so moved by it. And then he had reached out and said, we're making this into a documentary. And I said, well, this documentary's got to premiere at the Teaneck Film Festival and tells his story, which is so important about the arts, about dancing in the face of adversity, political adversity, discrimination. And it's just an incredible film. In addition to that, in the virtual series, we have films that deal with ICE in Los Angeles and how people are dealing with that, a Puffin-funded documentary. We also have a wonderful narrative feature called Cast Aside the Clouds, which is a Canadian production that was shot in Greece that takes place in Tehran about a relationship between a Muslim doctor and a woman of Baha'i faith, and how an interfaith love affair in Iran, present-day Iran, and the implications and the danger that is associated with that. An incredible film, an incredible talkback with the cast and crew. And there's so much more in that virtual pass. But I'm so proud of the diversity and the breadth of our roster and just, the kind of international scope of work that we do at TIFF. And, you've been so active and involved in helping to be on our screening committee, Sherri, and pick those films and have a say in what gets screened. And as you know, we get so many submissions through our Film Freeway and just, independent of that, through the distributors that we've worked with over the years. It's just become so hard picking.
It's hard picking. Right, because it's limited time, limited
venues.
Yeah.
I mean, the festival could literally be a month long.
It could be, and maybe
don't get any
one
idea.
day Yes. Okay. Planning committee, month-long festival. I can hear
I
Judy
think
now.
they shoot me.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Like I'm thinking. Like I can see Judy right now. Like, are you kidding me? Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I want to really, Jeremy, listen. It starts also at the helm. And you, 1 year. I'm so glad that you decided to do more than 1 year. And you have done a phenomenal job and work balancing it all, because it's not easy.
No, it's
And you have a life outside of the Teaneck International Film Festival as well. And you too are a volunteer. So you two are so committed, so passionate about the mission of the festival. And we talked a little bit, I mean, we've talked about this extensively before, how art really heals, how art bridges gaps, and that these films open up tough conversations that people can't always face.
Yeah.
And when you see, whether it's a documentary or you see a film, and suddenly you might just get some inspiration by seeing a character that you see yourself in. Though you may not have the same background, you may not have the same faith, you may not have the same color, but suddenly you see yourself, you see humanity. And that's what storytelling and these films are bringing.
Absolutely. And representation matters, right?
Totally.
Being able to tell stories that represent the scope of all of our stories.
Yes.
Where people can see themselves is so important. And as we know, film is the most powerful medium, in my opinion, to tell stories and to make change.
Yes, and that you are doing, my friend, making lots and lots of change. Let's talk about the film boot camp for the first time.
First time. We're so excited. So one of the things that we've implemented this year is to be able to give our patrons the opportunity to learn about the biz, because so many people come to film festivals as a means to connect with filmmakers, to other film aficionados, to writers, producers, but they don't necessarily always have the opportunity to learn about script writing, pitching a show, understanding the process of what that takes. And we are offering a filmmakers boot camp that is free for everyone to sign up. That's going to be headed by film and television executive Ashley McFarland, formerly of LiQWYD, which is part of the AMC network.
And all black.
Correct. Who will be coming to Teaneck on November 12th and hosting a 3-hour filmmakers boot camp at Fairleigh Dickinson University. And we're so excited to be able to give people the opportunity. All ages are welcome, from, young to old. And we've seen people get into film at all different phases of their life. People who later in life have a story to tell,
That's
or,
right.
A show they want to pitch, or a documentary that they want to make, or younger folks that are unsure about what it's all about, that may be thinking of possibly a career in television or film or media. And this is an incredible opportunity for people to get a bird's eye view.
Yes. Speaking of bird's eye view, of course, Ashley's
Ba-dum-bum.
company is Bird's Eye Entertainment. And I have the privilege of working with Ashley on projects of my own. And you all have met her. Dreamers Unite. She was here. She launched our very first season.
So cool.
Yeah. So she is no stranger either to Dreamers Unite, and really a dear, dear friend of mine too. It's all the connections.
All the incredible people that we have worked with that have come through our spaces.
Yeah.
Think about a 20-year history. It goes so quickly.
I know.
I have to tell you, Sherri, I have to tell you, you do, and we do, we're always doing so much work, and we're always, once one show is over, one festival is done, we're on to the next one. But I think it was really during COVID that we had a moment to just kind of sit back and reflect on what we've done, where we're at, and where we're going. And truly, in that moment, when I looked back at all of the work and all of the stories that we've been able to tell, hundreds of stories in our 20-year history, and the people that we've worked with, and how those stories have helped shape our culture in many, many ways. You know, you got to remember, you know, major films here talking about the Central Park Five, right? And their story and how that's impacted, you know, the American justice system.
And still going on today,
right.
You know?
It's just incredible to see the significance in what we do. And, you know, you talk about on Dreamers, like everybody has a dream and, you know, the work that you do and why you do it. I really feel that this work is bigger than us. And I feel that I took this on not really knowing fully what I was getting into, and taking over a film festival that didn't have an activist theme when we started it, but seeing the organizations and the affiliations that we had, and being a project of the Pullum Foundation and the artistic grant funding that they support, realizing that, well, we are already doing this work. And there were naysayers when we turned it into, you know, a permanent activist theme, and people were like, well, no one's going to want to see activist movies, and that's going to be heavy, and why are you doing that? People just want to go and be entertained. And I said, no, this is what we do. This is our history. This is what we're really already doing. And there's an importance in doing that. And not all activism is about, you know, being sad, right?
Absolutely.
We just saw that with a stage reading that we did the other night about
yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. You know, on issues relating to the LGBTQ plus community, and how you can tell important stories with humor.
Absolutely.
And we see that in our festival. We see that with Coexistence My Ass.
Absolutely.
Coming to probably the most difficult topic to talk about in a humorous context, but be able, you know, if you can't laugh, right? If you can't laugh at the world and sometimes the complexity and the sadness of the world, then what are we, right? We also have to be able to approach things in a way where we can, you know, look at things with a degree of levity, but also, you know, realize these are important issues, but we have to be able to engage each other through a thread of humanity.
Absolutely.
And I think, you know, laughter and finding humor in something that may be tragic may be the way that we find a path forward. I don't have all the answers, but there's hope in that.
I definitely think there's hope in that. And listen, stand-up comedians, right? They take the most painful issues in their lives, right? And they turn them upside down on their head, and it's healing to laugh. Some of the most painful times in my life, I can say, you know, you can gain some perspective and look back, and laughter is healing for the soul.
Completely.
Yeah. It's that release mechanism. That same release mechanism of laughter is the same thing when we release through tears. So we have to laugh. Okay, people, we have to laugh. Yeah.
Yes,
and this festival has, you know, listen, and telling stories is important, again, as we say, because it's a way that people can kind of let their guard down. And sometimes even the thing of that laughter, it's the same thing. It's that same sort of premise, letting your guard down, because people can be very defensive with these subject matters that we bring to the forefront. What's going on politically right now in this country? We're so divisive right now.
Everything is so divisive. You feel like, you know, you can't walk into any space without, you know, being labeled or being, you know, what side are you on?
What side?
You know, I think it's so important that people can come into spaces at the Teaneck International Film Festival, regardless of where they are on the spectrum, and come into a safe space and get an objective, hopefully an objective viewpoint to learn about something or shed light on something where they may come out with a different viewpoint. You know,
That's the hope. Give me
That's
some
the
of that.
hope. That's the
That they
hope.
come out on a different viewpoint, that you grow.
That you grow, right? I think that's so important because we're seeing, this kind of shrinking in our society of people wanting to question or people engaging in ways that are important, right? With what's going on or creating change. Why is that important to me? Why should I care about that? All I care about is, my own little kind of world that I live in. And I think these films have the ability to open people's minds, to show them, there is a whole world out there of diverse opinions and viewpoints. But I think the beauty that we see in our festival is that we can bring diverse communities together to celebrate what we have in common and celebrate the uniqueness in our diversity. And I think kind of to what we were talking about yesterday, it's seeing people for who they are as opposed to just labeling someone as something and then having, this pre-constructed idea of who that person is rather than actually looking at someone and getting to know that person for who they are and trying to, understand where they came from.
Okay, there's my nugget moment. Okay. You got to catch a nugget from you, Jeremy. Okay. This is big. This is huge. Seeing people for who they are instead of looking at them with the mask, the label, the role they play, but really taking the time to understand their story, really listen, is so important. And you're right, through films of storytelling, through just conversation, Jeremy and I just want to encourage you to really start getting curious with yourself. Do you see people for who they are? Or are you only looking at their label? Are you only looking at their role? Are you only looking at what you don't understand about them, as opposed to taking some time to really look under the hood and see the heart? Jeremy, give me that nugget. Boom.
Boom.
There you go. Did you get and a boom over there too? Okay, don't let me throw it to Jeremy's camera. Boom. There you go. Okay. That's such a huge nugget. Talk about laughter. We have to come here and have some fun.
We have some fun.
Yeah. Jeremy, before we close this segment out, tell me, what do you see for the film festival? Like, what would you love to see? Where would you like to see this festival grow to? And maybe some other films that you'd like for film. You've had such a variety, but in your wish, what films have you not maybe seen that you'd like to come pass through the festival? And where do you see the festival growing to?
There's a lot, I think, in terms of stories that are just being told now. And I think it's very interesting that we are now seeing a lot of films, documentaries, and narrative features that for the first time are getting the global platform to be told about Palestine and the story of Palestinians. And I think it's really important that festivals embrace all stories as we discuss and continue to have conversations that may make people feel sometimes a little uncomfortable, but sometimes it's in that discomfort that you realize, like, we're all kind of trying to find the same things, and that's living with dignity and living with a roof over our heads and foods in our stomach. So, I think that's something that you'll continue to see more of in the festival. stories that impact the environment is so important. This year we have a film on microplastics, and we continue to find stories that are so relevant to the way that our world is being shaped. And hopefully these are stories that will help people to be more focused and concerned about what's going on to our environment, protecting our planet. And as far as where I see our festival going, I'm happy with where our festival is. I don't know that, the goal is to necessarily see our festival in a different light. I think our festival has accomplished and continues to accomplish the right work where we're supposed to be for right now. And I think that there's something so remarkable in being able to be a community-driven and inspired festival that really works to engage people locally. And that's obviously a big vehicle for change, right?
Yes.
Because change starts at the local level, and working with our students, working with our young people. I mean, we do film as young as ages 4 to 8 with animated little kid flicks, and bringing them into the fold and really making it about a community-driven festival where there's something for everybody and there's something that people can walk away from feeling like they've had an impact or they made a change, or even if it's something as so simple as I've learned something today, right? Or maybe I made a friend with a neighbor that I never thought I would be friends with, or learned about someone that lived on my block that I didn't know was there.
That's phenomenal. And I love what you just said. You're already becoming. You'll just evolve more into becoming all that you already are.
Right.
That the festival already is.
And I think that's, we always think, oh, I want to be like this. I want to, go here. I'm like, we're good where we are. We're doing the work. We're happy. We're in the space that we're existing in, and we're seeing the change with that. And I think, we continue to evolve in that space. And there's a ripple effect, right? When you impact one change in one person, that has a ripple effect to impact the whole world. And in our 20-year history, we have seen that and continue to see it year after year.
Well, and what I can say is I am so grateful to be a part of the journey year after year. I haven't been here. Well, how long have you been with the festival?
This is my 16th.
16th year. And this, I think, is my 5th year, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and you're not getting rid of me, so I'm not going anywhere.
No, we've scooped you up as permanent TIFF member.
Yeah, permanent TIFF member, and certainly Dreamers Unite. It's always part of the Dreamers Unite family. Jeremy, you know how much I enjoy this conversation with you. Every time I talk to you, I learn so much. Even though we share on the committee and we're talking about films together, I still learn so much. And you are just a breath of fresh air.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for doing the work that you do. Thank you for Dreamers Unite to inspire a new generation of dreamers to be the change and create the change, because we need that.
Yeah.
We need that right now. So
Yeah.
all you dreamers that are out there, continue dreaming and continue engaging.
Yeah, and I always say now is the time for dreamers to create the world we wish to see.
100%.
Yeah. And if I may say, we're our ancestors' dream and we're God's dream. And if our ancestors, all of our ancestors, no matter what your background is, if they gave up, where would we be? They could see something so much bigger for a future ahead. And we're also, for me, when I think about dreaming and Dreamers Unite, I'm here to demystify sometimes people think that dreamers are, just walking around on, head up in the clouds, totally detached from reality. Everything, and I'll say it again, dreamers, because everyone's a dreamer. Anything you see, touch, hear, taste, smell, everything with your senses is from someone's imagination.
Right? We're all energy.
We're all energy. Yeah, and it started from someone's dream. Where we are now, all of it. So I am so grateful that you had this big vision for TIFF. And as you say, we're all energy. There are no mistakes. You were meant to be where you are right now.
And I believe that.
Yeah.
Truly believe that. And as our youth, this is
Yeah, I
our
believe
path.
it.
This is our light. And you have to step into that light sometimes to realize that full dream.
That's right. We're going to keep shining bright. We're going to keep shining bright. We're going to keep shining bright. Listen, we are going to go on to our dream game. I hope you are inspired and powered up. The dream game is up next with Jeremy Lentz. All righty, we are back and we are ready for, you know what time it is. It's time for the dream game. I love that. Thank you. Okay, Jeremy. So name it, claim it, own it. And we have a new dream box for this season. How beautiful is that dream box? And we're going to keep filling it up with so many dreams. So Jeremy, let's name it, claim it, own it. So the big thing is really to name the dream. And you can name a dream for the film festival as well as your own personal dream. For our dream box. And we, as a community of dreamers, we will be claiming it with you. And then one day we'll be picking these dreams out of our dream box and see how you owned it. And you'll come back here because that's the whole thing, right? About dreaming is what's the story? How did you get there to manifest that dream? All right. So you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Go ahead and name your dream. I'm going to get you to name your dream. And then I have a question for you as you're thinking about your dream. I don't know if you can.
And you want me to name my dream?
Name it, write it down. First name it. And then we'll claim it with you. And then, so really all your goal is.
Do we talk about it? Where is that?
You can tell me what your dream is. And so that way we can claim it with you.
Got it.
Yes. And then we'll also put it in the dream box.
Okay.
If there's something in there that you want to keep a secret, you can do that too. And then when we pull out your dream, we can see if it manifests for you. And then we'll talk about it.
Got it.
All right. But I think it is important to share a dream. People have different perspectives of that because I do think there is power in community. There's power, like you say, we're all energy. Certainly there is power in prayer. And there is power in numbers. So I think it's important. And there might be someone out there to help you with that dream to manifest it. All right. So you get busy doing that. And as you're thinking about that, I'm going to ask you to walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time because I have another question or something that I realized we didn't get a chance to talk about in the previous segment. And that is the film, the first time having an award for the emergent filmmaker.
Yes, the inaugural Emerging Activist Filmmaker Award is being given this year at our 20th anniversary, and it's being given to a debut filmmaker. His name is Arfat Sheikh, and his debut film is called Saffron Kingdom, and it's an incredible narrative feature which tells the story of Kashmir. Very controversial film to make because much like what we've been seeing with stories that are coming out of Palestine, these stories are getting silenced, right? Where they're not being given a platform to be told. And also, there are many people involved with these kind of films that are afraid to be involved or have their names attached to these films because of fear of reprisal. And this is one of those films that tells a really important story that I think to many who are not familiar with the story of Kashmiris will learn a lot about their plight and their struggle and their relationship here in America and how all of that comes about. So in any event, RFAT will be here to accept that award, that cash prize and his trophy in person on Sunday, November 9th at 3 p.m. So I would encourage people to come out and support Saffron Kingdom, an incredible debut film.
Yes, and congratulations, Saffron Kingdom. That's exciting. I'm going to try to definitely be there as well.
Great.
We'll be there. Okay.
Great.
At
Okay.
your task, naming it. And even if you want to, as you're writing, tell us a little bit about it as you're writing, and we'll claim it with you. So what is this one starting off with a dream for TIFF?
I think
or
it's
for
a dream
yourself?
for the world.
I love that. A dream for the world. And so what's your dream, Jeremy, for the world?
So my dream for the world is that we can wake up and live in a world with a little bit or a lot more kindness, compassion, and empathy for each other and for people who are othered.
I love that. So we are going to claim that with you as you continue to write, if you haven't finished, that we wake up in a world where we have an abundance, I'm going to say, an abundance of kindness, compassion, and love for one another, and not being othered, not being put outside of humanity, because we're all a part of this beautiful planet and this whole shared experience. I see it with you, Jeremy.
I know
see
you
it
do.
with you.
I
Yeah.
know you do.
And it starts with us. It really does. It starts with the I. I always say that to people. It starts with the I. So we are going to claim that. I'm claiming it with you, this whole community of dreamers. And remember, it just starts with you to take one step of kindness, one step of compassion, one step of love towards someone that you don't even know. That's beautiful. Thank you, Jeremy, for that. You hand me that dream. Did you finish writing it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, beautiful.
You want me to fold it?
Yeah, you can fold it. That's fine. Now we're going to put it in our dream box. And I do believe that is going to manifest for sure.
Amen.
Yes. Amen and ashe. Yes. All right. Jeremy Lentz, you know I could talk to you like all day. And as they say, you know, all good things sometimes have to come to an end just for this moment. But Jeremy and I have talked many times about having some critiquing some films together. And I would love for us to do independent films
Let's do
these
it.
types of films. So
Let's make it happen.
let's make it happen. It's not going to just be a dream and a wish. We're going to make it happen. Jeremy Lentz, I cannot thank you enough. You know how much I have such admiration for you. You're one of
Thank
my
you,
favorite
Sherri.
people on the
Thank
planet.
you.
Keep
Love
doing
you.
what you do. I love you too.
And keep doing what you do. The
Thank
importance
you.
in shows like this and being able to tell people's story and uplift community and drive people to dream. Give
Yeah.
people hope. People need that.
Oh, thank you, Jeremy. Thank you.
Thanks, Sherri.
Oh, we're getting teary-eyed. You know it's going to happen. I love you, Jeremy.
Love you too.
Oh,
And love you, dreamers. Thanks
that's
for
right.
watching.
Yes, and love you too, dreamers, and thank you for watching. Okay, I'm going to come over here to you, dreamers. Listen, thank you so much. And as Jeremy said, really, I am on a mission. We're on a mission to inspire higher, to be truth sayers, truth tellers, sharing stories, having difficult conversations, because dreaming isn't all just easy breezy, okay? It's tough, but it's so worth it. So I thank you so much. If you have not hit that subscribe button, follow us, share, do all the things, okay, that we need to help us grow and support us here on this channel. I am not going anywhere. It can be tough sometimes, right? But I'm not going anywhere. I believe in you, and really now is the time for dreamers to create the world we wish to see. And I'll see you next time right here in the studio.